Well, good morning, everybody. It's Brent Abel here, goldballhunting.com. And I just felt like I should go a little southern this morning. Um, Not sure why, but I like it. I like the feeling of if I was from the South, I'd want to sound just like this. I love my Southern people. I love them, Jeff. And I had some great times down there in the South. You know, I taught in Memphis, Tennessee for a year there at the
Yeah.
Stonebridge Country Club back in 1975 with Jerry McEwen.
Woo!
Jerry McEwen was a head pro there, and he called me up and said, "Hey, we got a new club here, Brent. Would you mind coming on out from Northern California and being my assistant professional?" I said, "Jerry, well, I'd be honored there, sir." So got out there, had a great time. Now I'm going back to Northern California. Had a great time.
Nice transition.
Yeah. However, Jeff, there was one problem once the winter hit in Memphis. That was the winter of 75, 76. And golly gee, it started actually snowing. It got a little cold, and those clay courts were a little rough to get out on. So scratched my head and said, I got to make some money here. So called up my friend Barry McKay. I said, Bear, you got anything? There's this job I read about down in Key Biscayne, Florida. I think you know her, Donna Floyd Fales, former top tenor. And he goes, yeah, I know what. He says, you want the job? And I said, I'd love to get out of here, please. And even though I love Memphis, the weather was just like horrific. And so sure enough, I mean, it's one of the classic things, you know, I probably was the least qualified guy for the job, but I had the most connection with Barry McKay and Donna Floyd Fales. And sure enough, she called me later that day and said, hey, if you want the job, come on down. And I said, oh,
boom.
Thank golly. Thank golly. I'm coming on down there, Donna. So anyway, that was it was a short little time. I had a great time in Memphis for that 1 year teaching there, and actually learned a little bit about clay courts, and then went down to Key Biscayne, Florida, and taught down there for a couple of years, and just met some great people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately had to come home in 1977 because my mom had smoked her last cigarette. And the Kents with a micronite filter finally said, that's it, Georgie. I think you've had enough. And so had to go home and kind of help her with the last few days. But anyway, I had a great time in Florida. So listen, guys, we're going to talk about something today that's pretty tough.
Yeah. If your eyes aren't glazed over by now and drooling, if you've hung around this long.
Well, if you hung around this long, just hang out there a little bit later.
Hang out, yeah.
Because we got a reality check that happens to a lot of us, from beginners all the way to the top. And Jeff, I'm going to pick your brain and look for a few solutions. So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us who never played in the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Brent Abel, and along with my biz partner, Jeff Jacklich, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting. All righty, Jeff. What's your best accent? What do you have?
Billy Bob.
Okay, maybe you're a Southern boy at heart too.
Well, I've spent some time down there, so I had this morning. Yeah, I was feeling you this morning. I had grits and some hush puppies this morning, so I'm good to go.
Good. Well, they do have some good food down there.
Yeah. So today I'm on the court. I got 3 more gold ballers today. A couple of repeats from yesterday that want to get a couple more sessions in before I'm out.
Right. Good.
And
well, you're heading out today, right?
This afternoon, yeah. So here, Modesto, and that chops about an hour and a half off the big drive tomorrow.
So
it does make a difference when you go from 7.5 to 8 hour drive down to 6.5. That it helps.
It is good, yeah. So you'll be hitting the desert tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and get out of there by 8, and so hopefully mid-afternoon.
Well, text me if you want to hit a couple of pelotas, the round yellow things out there. Might have a grass court lined up for us. I don't know.
You think you got a connection?
Slight.
Yeah. Just got my sticks yesterday.
Oh boy.
Back from the stringer.
You're just
dropped down.
You're just like a horse that's just like, let me run,
oh my
Jeff.
God.
Let me go.
Dropped the main strings down a couple pounds. I've got I'm using the Head Prestige Tour. Dropped the cross strings at 48 with synthetic gut, 17 gauge synthetic, and then the mains with their 18 gauge Hawk Touch poly at 48 pounds. I originally strung that up at 46 and 50.
Yes.
But it was a little too pingy, a little too tight, and so I dropped it down 2 pounds. Oh my gosh. It just, man, that racket just pockets the ball like it's just like, here it is.
I love you. Goodbye.
Where would you like it to go, Jeff? Over there? Okay.
That's right.
It just feels
good.
Just like, man, just holding on to the ball just right. And so,
That's fun.
I'm anxious
That's
to get out there and pull the trigger.
Well, shoot me a text if you want to.
Will do.
Pocket a few more on the grass tomorrow.
Yes.
Hey, look, I want to talk to you about a situation that's pretty common and specific to a certain stroke where, let's say that you're preparing for a tournament and you go out and you're a couple days away from your first round match, and you get there and you play a set. You play a set against your buddy. And you're serving well. I mean, not serving like you're crushing the serve, but you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I just want to kind of loosen up, maybe serve 75, 80% power, swing speed. And yet, because you're relaxed, you're actually, even though you're kind of doing the sales job on yourself, let's just go 80% swing speed. You're popping that thing. You're getting a nice tight spin. Your first serve percentage is up there in the clouds, man. And you're actually in a couple of serves, you're just like you talked about before we started recording is, the toss placement, theoretically, we'd like it right there, but reality, it's kind of a little moving target.
There's a range.
There's kind of a range.
There's an acceptable range.
There's kind of a tossing placement range level, kind of the skill level range. Anyway, and so sometimes, what happens is the toss is maybe a hair short and you go, oh, I better speed it up just to kind of, get to it. And boom, ace. Not that we're encouraging you to intentionally toss short to speed everything up, but it does happen. It does happen sometimes. But anyway, so then 2 days later, you go out for your first round match in the tournament. You can't find the service box over there. And you're kind of going, wait a minute. I was just 48 hours ago, I had it. I was cleaning off the racket and I could. So what? So now so now you're throwing in double faults, and not like 1 or 2 a set. It's like 1 or 2, a game.
Yeah.
And in your mind is right. You're just scratching your head going, well, what do I have to do here? You're kind of almost hyperventilating on it going, I got to get some serves in. Then when you finally get one in, you're so messed up that the ball comes back up the return and you're just tighter than a drum. You can't get the next ball in play. So what do you got for us, Jeff? I mean, let's say that I know Mr. Perfect Man over there, never in that situation.
No.
However, let's just imagine you had a great warm-up day and now you're out in that match.
No,
or maybe it's the second round of a tournament, and the first round, you played great, you served well.
Yeah.
Now the next thing is you can't find the service box, and your confidence is really like a lead balloon. It's just dropping fast.
Well, I'm not immune. Number one is, I've got my own
little. Put the brakes on that statement right there. I'm not immune. I don't believe that.
I'm not immune. And so I think the biggest, let's say on the mental side of it, is your ego gets in the way, and you're thinking it's going to come, and it doesn't. And so you've got to be brave enough to face the music and go, okay, so I need to get some serves in and not keep thinking first and second. You got to find a rhythm, find a speed that you can get your first serve in. Even if the guy is pounding on the return, you've got to find a way in to get there, and then know that you're not going to be in the best place after the serve. That's just the reality of the day. And what do you do to like get neutral after the serve and first ball, right? And so the serve itself has to become something where it's like, where's the target that I seem to be able to hit? And what's the pace of ball that I seem to be able to hit it more consistently? I seem to not double fault. And so for me, it's hitting much more of a topspin, i.e. semi kicker serve, and just going at the body and getting it up a little bit. And I may have to back off and not serve and volley because that ball's kind of hanging in the air a little bit, but it does get me into the point. It gets the point started off the first serve. and now you can focus on that part of it. But as long as you keep kind of fighting the reality of the timing that day, it's not going to get better. I'm just going to stick with it. I'm just going to stick with it till my timing comes. Well, the problem with that is at the end of the match is starting to accelerate toward you. And we've got to slow that down and get the end of the match to be able to push the end of the match off into the distance a little bit. And another challenge in this is that, how many tournament matches, not league matches, how many tournament matches have you played recently or ever or whatever? Because I can tell you this, that is the kind of the loose variable in this whole thing. You might go out there, it's your first tournament, you might be nervous, but for some reason, your timing's good and you have a good serving day. Maybe not a great serving day, but it wasn't a hindrance to the match. But when it's your first tournaments back, I got to tell you, it can be rough
nervy
to get,
Super
nervy. And, you hit the ball, you serve fine in your practice set, earlier in the week, and you're feeling good, which is a good feeling to have. But you get in there and nerves are nerves. Different arena, maybe, even if you're not on a show court, it's first match. I can tell you this, when my first match back into playing at age 52, played at that time, I think it was the Babolat before it became the A6, before it came to Wilson now. And, I'd trained and gotten in shape and was feeling good. I ended up playing Chris Dunk first round. Thanks.
Nice draw. Way to go, guys.
And talk about a frustrating afternoon. We went at it for 2 sets. I lost 5 and 6. It was almost 3 hours for 2 sets. We beat the living tar out of each other. And my frustration that day was, I'm breaking his serve and can't hold my own. And it was just like, oh my God, this should be over, but I couldn't hold serve.
Yeah.
And part of that was that frustration of just not being able to hit the serves I wanted. Nerves. Just huge nervy day, and just trying to manage the mental and emotional side of this deal while playing this match. And it was tough. I was exhausted. I couldn't play the next day, even if I wanted to. I was just so exhausted from the mental gymnastics, of the day. So, the solution is just finding, you've got to find a serve that you feel like you can get in, whatever it looks like. Again, you're in the middle of a match, you got to find a solution to get the ball in. And so, I go to my, my topspin kick serve, because I'm even on the worst of conditions, I know I can pop that serve in.
Yeah. Well, I think a couple things happen here. Number one, you nailed it with the first thing, which is the ego gets in the way. And in terms of, I'm going to keep jamming it in. It's going to come. But sometimes players go, you know what? I've double faulted a couple of times. I need now to make up for those double faults with a couple of quick singers. And it's just like, that's like total ego, mind crap right there.
Yeah.
And for me, look, we all go through it. And for me, I do exactly what you suggested, is I go second serve first. And I just start getting balls in play, and I start getting my confidence built up. Because if you're worried about double faulting, even if you get it in,
Right.
confidence is like down here
Down to shoelaces. I
it's
mean,
below sea level. It's in,
your
Death Valley.
your focus is so trapped on watching your ball go across the net, and is it landing in?
Whoa,
And
thank God.
once you see it land in, then you decide that I should recover and maybe get ready, and now I'll deal with what I get, as
Yeah.
opposed to, again, continuing to see the first serve or your second serve and the next ball as a package. So it just
Well,
leads you
look,
down a road that
I
is just,
mean, once I start getting my second, so I say, okay, look, I'm not finding the first serve. Maybe I'm not double faulting a lot, but I'm just I'm throwing in a load of second serves. And there's that moment between your first and second serve. You've missed your first serve again. And now you've got what, a few seconds between the end of that first, missing it, and now you got to start the motion for the second serve. And there's a lot of potential in there mentally to mess yourself up big time.
without a doubt.
So what I do is I just don't put myself in that situation. If I'm missing first serves, then I just go, okay, look, we're just going second serve. And what happens for me, Jeff, is after I hit a few second serves as first serves, all of a sudden I'm starting to build my confidence back up.
Right.
And I'm starting to feel it. And I don't go now back to, well, big first. I just get a little bit tossed further in front. I get a little less trajectory, and I work my way back towards a decent first serve, which at the end of the match might not be my biggest first serve of all time, but at least I'm now getting first serves in play. And I think too often everyone thinks, well, I got to get the first serve in play. Well, that means my first serve is the big bomber. No.
No.
Your first serve is any serve that you get in play on the first ball, and that's it.
Right.
And that's
Right.
it. So
it is. It's and I think, here's something for everybody too, is that you should be working on, both serves need work. First serve and second serve. The second serve, you should be working on it to the point where it becomes a choice, even when you're serving well, for a first serve. I told the story about playing the 55 hard courts, and playing down at Indian Wells, where it became the strategy, because I had made a note about my opponent's return when I hit the kicker. And so it became the strategy that actually won me the second set tiebreaker and the match in straight. And so I like to use my second serve as a weapon, and a change up, and it's like, this guy's starting to do X, Y, or Z. You know what? I'm going to throw in the big kicker up to the backhand side here, and see if I can get that ball up around his eyeballs, and maybe sneak attack, maybe come in off of that second serve as a first serve for a serve and volley, because I'm hanging the ball in the air a little longer. He's probably screwed in a little tighter, waiting for a bigger, flatter first serve. And if all those little variables, if I can get it just a little bit off, where he might chunk the ball up a little bit, I get it up out of the strike zone a little bit. So I'm encouraging everybody to spend time working on the second serve, so it becomes part of your menu on your service game, not just, oh, this is a serve I can just get in, but it becomes also part of a strategy that you can use. Sometimes at 40 love, throw in the changeup. It's a pitcher in baseball. I know this guy loves the fastball, but I got to set him up for it. And then I'm going to throw in the big hanging curve, or I'm going to throw the changeup now, and the guy spins himself into the ground trying to hit it, right? So, I would encourage everybody to spend a little extra time on their second serve for that reason, not just as a security device that I know I get my second serve in all the time, but also that I can use it as a first serve offensively.
Yeah. Well, no, that's right. I mean, let's say you're not double faulting, and let's say you're having a great day hitting your targets in your first serve. It just happens that your opponent has the type of stroke technique that they just absorb, and boom, they rocket everything back. And then the ego gets in going, well, all right, I'm just going to serve a little bit bigger. And now you start to miss, and now you get pissed. Now you try to serve even bigger than that. And
right.
So, no, Jeff, you're
what you're describing, though, is also, it's a common occurrence where a player starts out serving well, he's just picking the wrong target maybe. And then he ends up serving his way out of good rhythm because he keeps trying to escalate.
Right.
And he just serves his way out of a good serving day.
Well, look, here's a shameless plug for any of you that want to work on your topspin serve. I just happen to have a free course specific for your topspin serve over at webtennis.com. All you got to do is, if you're not already on my email list over there, just go over there, webtennis.com, put in your first name and email address, and you'll get access to my free course on the topspin serve so that you can do exactly what Jeff is recommending that you spend some time on. I actually went out yesterday in the grass in the afternoon. Jeff, by the way, hit 80 here yesterday. And nice. I'm out there hitting my serves and doing my sprints and a few little, push-ups, just looking over at Mount San Jacinto and going, all right, just don't screw this up, Rennie. Just don't mess it up. God, it was gorgeous out here yesterday. I mean, just
awesome.
Same thing for today. All right. Listen, guys, a couple spots left in our Thursday one-day workshop next week. Coming up like a freight train here, Jeff. It's going to be on Thursday. Well, Thursday and Friday one-day workshops. Friday sold out, but Thursday we got a couple of spots left. Thursday the 16th of January. And we're doing a one-day workshop. It's actually, there's a pre-workshop event we need you to attend, and then the day of the workshop, and then we got to keep you engaged for the next 4 weeks afterwards with some things that we're to do for you. So look, if you guys have not watched the info video on what we're going to give you in the workshop, you got to watch that first. There's a link down below. Just click that, go watch it, and then you can choose whether or not you want to fill out the application. We got to make sure that we put everyone in the right group skill level. Yeah. Those links are down below, whether you're at the YouTube channel right now or if you're listening over at iTunes or wherever else you might be. I don't know. Jeff, what do we want fine folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes and Stitcher, rate, review, goldballhunting.com. Come on, share it. Yeah, jump in.
Love it. Share. Love it. I'm going back to my southern roots right here, Jeff.
Whoa.
People, folks, friends, and family, get out there. Help someone else have a great day. Jeff, let's do this again tomorrow.
Okay.